What's up, guys, and welcome to the final episode of this season of the Bubba Speed Career Mode in MotoGP 20. And we're going into Valencia with a 5-point lead over Masià, who's going to be racing on his home track. Or, I don't know if it's his home track. He might not be from Catalonia, but he might, he's definitely Spanish. So it's technically one of his home tracks. There's 4 in MotoGP at this point. So he has more home tracks than anybody else will ever have in this league, except in this championship, except for any other Spanish rider. But he's definitely the best one. So this is gonna be a crowning moment for either me or him, or for Bubba or Masià, because obviously not only gonna be winning the championship, but if he wins this championship, it's gonna be a monstrous comeback and something that people will remember for a long time. He actually gets a decent start, but so do we. Foggia is right in front of us. See if we can get past him, because we want to put some ground between us and Masià ASAP. See if Masià goes diving into the first corner. Oh, we go in a little bit too hard. And there goes Foggia. Masià's behind us right now. If we can just stay above, in front of... Oh, man, look, we dive in. Because that... Oh, I was hoping it was Masià. Not really hoping, but I was like, if it's going to be one of the two, at least be Masià. Sasaki has also crashed, so Foggia and Sasaki are out of the running, which is actually kind of good for us, because that means that... at least one guy, because Foggia is always going to be, competitive against us. He's always going to have that extra motivation to beat us too, because of the whole teammate thing. But it's good to know that at least one guy who could potentially take away one of our positions is gone. So making us feel a little bit more confident. And Valencia, I have to say, I've mentioned this many a time, is one of my favorite tracks. I've been racing on this track for, at this point, like 2 decades in various games. And it's just one that I've always really loved. In particular, I remember a Superbike game where it was really fun to play. Was it a Superbike game? Maybe it wasn't a Superbike game, now that I think about it. But there was, there was one game. Oh no, it was that's right. It was Tourist Trophy, where Valencia was very fun to play on too. So I've just been a huge fan of this track for a very long time, and it would be a great way to end this career mode, or at least the season of the career mode, by winning the championship on Valencia against a Spanish rider, and that would just be a very good way to end it. Suzuki is in second, Antonelli's in third. I'm not sure who's in first right now. We should find out as we go across the line, and we'll kind of see that. Okay, so it's Finati. I was kind of expecting it to be Finati. Oh shit, where's Masià? Masià is outside the top 10. Was he involved in that Foggia crash? That's interesting. That is very interesting. He may have been involved in that crash that took out Foggia and I think Sasaki. So we might actually have the championship already won at this point. So we can just kind of stroll our way around Valencia and not have to worry about too much. That's actually really good. Really good? That's really good. Because I was worried about having to have a battle, maybe choking, embarrassing myself in front of all you guys. And, I don't know, just looking really dumb and looking really, just looking like a bitch, essentially, for choking. So, luckily, Masià is the one that seems to have choked. And I guess it kind of remains to be seen if it was his fault or if that's even the case. He may not have even been involved in that crash. But it's the only explanation I can think of, because it happened behind us. And Masià was right there. So, more than likely what happened is maybe Foggia crashed. And in order for Masià to avoid him or not crash out himself, he had to go off the track or something like that. So, regardless, Masià is at least apparently out of the running for the championship, which is kind of an anticlimactic ending. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I was hoping, like, yeah, there was a severe chance of me blowing it and choking and looking like a dumbass, but there was also a great chance of having just this epic battle to end this season, and have a tremendous battle and go out on our shield if we lose, and go out just in a blaze of glory. Well, that also sounds like you're losing, but you just go out, shrouded in the glory of our fallen foes or something like that, as we go to Moto3, as we go to Moto2, as the world champions. But I'm not going to complain even if it's because Masià crashed himself out or was involved in a crash with his teammate. I'm not going to complain either way. As long as we win the championship, that's all that matters to me. And let's talk a little bit about Valencia. Let's talk about why this track is so fun. First of all, I just love the layout. I think it's arguably the best layout in the entire calendar. It's the best overall track. It has level changes. It has a lot of different kinds of turns. And overall, it's just very fun because there's plenty of passing spots, and it's just a track that overall, you can really just enjoy yourself. And I feel like it would probably be one of the most fun tracks in real life. This turn in particular I really like, and I like how different it is in each game and depending on the class and all that stuff. Like, a lot of times, especially when you get up to the bigger classes, like going through there, I let off as I go through the corner and then don't touch the gas until I come back out of the second left. But in Moto3, you can pretty much just go through it full throttle and then tap the brakes as you approach the second left-hander, and it's just a really fun corner. This part of the track is also really fun. There hit the dirt, so that kind of sucks as we're trying to get close to third. It would be nice to end at least with a podium or something like that, but I'm not going to complain either way. And this part right here, like, I love this left hand. It kind of reminds me of Mugello in a little bit in a way. The last turn of Mugello, it's kind of similar here as you go running wide and if they clip the apex. Of course, I blow it completely. Get a horrible drive coming out of it. Probably going to get past. I mean, if you just look at the radar, there's at least one, I think maybe even two people just right there on us, and see as we go by. No, okay, it's only us, and I think that might be Toba or something like that. I'm probably going to get lambasted in the comments for not remembering what that guy's name is. As we also run really wide in the first corner, there goes Toba, passing us in embarrassing fashion. But like I said, the important thing at this point is just finishing the race. As long as and we crash out. We crash out, trying to go too hard on Toba, pause. And there goes Alcoba. There goes Arbolino. Now we're going to find out if Masià is actually anywhere near us. Interesting stuff, as we're down to 6th. Hoping to win this race, I would have been okay with a podium. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Arbolino right now is in front of us. So yeah, at least we're going to have an idea of where Masià is. Like, if he's somewhere near the top 10, we're going to find out soon enough. I mean, presumably, considering how he usually is, he starts off a little bit, he starts off kind of back there and then he starts building up. So maybe he's still, maybe he'll end up being close to us eventually. Like, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. That's the kind of racer he is. But at this point, I mean, it's looking pretty damn good. Going back to Valencia, like, I would love to know from you guys in the comments, like, what your favorite track is and what you think of Valencia. Because, like, I don't know, I just feel like Valencia is one that's kind of universally beloved, and I just think it's actually probably the best track they could pick as the final weekend for the MotoGP calendar, just because I think it's so much fun, and overall the racing is pretty much always really good here in Valencia. And the Spanish tracks in general are actually good. Like, maybe I should rephrase that. The classic Spanish tracks are actually really good. So Aragon, not so much. I'm not a huge fan of Jerez, but it's still a pretty decent one. It's still a pretty decent track. Alright, so there was still no Masià to be found. I haven't seen him on the overtake little graphic that pops up whenever there's a pass. So doesn't even look like he's actually doing anything. He might not even be on the track anymore, to be honest with you. Which is, it's just, yeah, I kind of feel bad for the guy because he had such a good performance in Sepang, and then he doesn't even have a chance in Valencia to do anything. It's just kind of anticlimactic for us, and obviously for him too. But no complaints here. Back to Valencia because I keep on getting sidetracked. As I said, this is arguably my favorite part of the track right here, this left hand. And like I said, in MotoGP, as you go through here, you have to let off more or less as you go under the sign, the Tizzo sign. Right there, you have to let off, and then you don't hit the gas, at least back in the old games. I haven't tried it in this one. And then you don't hit the gas until about right here. Then you get on the gas, and then you just go. This left hand is also really fun. It's just a fast left hand, a fast right after it, and then you have to hit the brakes hard here in MotoGP. And in Moto3, it's a lot more about just understanding, like, if you let off, if you tap the brakes and you let off, you're usually going to be fine. Obviously, if you just completely misjudge a turn, then yeah, you're not going to be fine, and you're going to end up flying into a wall. But for the most part, you don't have to be extremely hard on the brakes, and that's something I've been having to work on, is because I feel like at a certain point, I was so dead set on having to use hard braking and using the rear brake because I was so unconfident with the front brake that all of a sudden I just started, I was making a lot of mistakes. But I just feel like as of right now, things are getting a lot better for me. I feel like I'm performing at a much higher level, and if I can keep it cleaner, if I can keep it smarter, then I definitely think I can actually compete well in Moto2. I don't know if Bubba will win the championship in his first season. That's, of course, all to be decided, as of course he's going to be the champion of Moto3. But you know, I think it'll be interesting to see, because that's where we're going to start to really see how hard the game is, because Moto3 is relatively easy from a riding point of view. What I have tried of MotoGP is a lot more difficult. I mean, that's obvious. That's just the way it should be. But it's definitely more difficult. I want to see like how close Moto2 is in terms of difficulty to riding some of the, you know, whether it's the old 4-stroke MotoGP bikes or the new ones, or even, you know, the 500. I think the 500 is the most difficult. But I want to see, you know, what they did with the Moto2 physics, and it's going to be interesting to see that. And there's especially like I enjoy the most, obviously, my favorite track. So that's where, you know, all these tracks that I'm in love with, you know, Valencia, Mugello, Sachsenring, Catalunya, all these tracks are so fun, and I just love experiencing different bikes on these tracks, and you know, the nuances and the gameplay makes it so to where you always have fun and you always have a different experience with each bike. So it's actually just really, really deep, and my review will be coming out probably in about a week or two for this game. So I hope you guys are excited about that as we approach the final corner, this long looping left. And then we're going to get hard on the brakes. Not really hard, but you know what I mean. Just let off, then go hard on the brakes. Ran it really wide. That's not important. At this point, don't even care if we end up getting 6th. That doesn't even matter, because we're still going to be able to win this championship without having to even break a sweat, essentially. Because Masià just completely blew it. And I want to see where the hell he ended up, because it's just so fucking bizarre. We got 6th. Antonelli Suzuki. So Suzuki confirms himself, like, just without it beyond a shadow of a doubt, that he is the 3rd best rider in Moto3. He's not even in the top 15, so he got 0 points. Sasaki, Masià. Yeah, Masià crashed out. There you go. He was definitely involved in that crash with Sasaki and Foggia. So there you go. Masià, he didn't finish. And we win the championship by 15 points. That's a great result for us. A great championship. Great season all around. I think it was really fun. The racing was great. It was competitive, because Masià, for the most part, was always right there. He also had some bad performances, but so did Bubba. Of course, they do at least have the insane honor that nobody cares about of winning the team championship. So the hats off to them for that. As Bubba, obviously not on the podium, but still has the right to celebrate his ass off with his team going off. It's an insane season, especially because the team is trash. Like, not the, you know, the bike is of course one of the more modest bikes on the grid. So you have to appreciate what Bubba has achieved. And I mean, Moto2 is going to be a different challenge. It's going to be much harder. Obviously starting to get a lot closer to the top league, but I do believe that we have the chance to go out there and be competitive in our first season of Moto2, as Bubba is going. He's either like just strutting to go, you know, have some post-race activities. Okay, never mind. He's going to get his championship. All right, I was confused there for a second as Bubba walks out. This is actually kind of a cool animation. Puts his helmet on there. Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't recall something like this being in the in previous games. Now, I never won a championship in MotoGP 19, so I can't tell you too much about that. I never actually finished a championship in MotoGP 19, except for one we did in this on the previous season of Bubba Speed. So I have no idea what happens if you win in that. As he walks up, the trophy is there. Bubba Speed, Moto3 World Champion. It's actually a pretty nice trophy too. That's a pretty cool little sequence right there. I'll give him credit. That was pretty cool. I wonder if it changes for each class. All right, so our options right now, and we have enough money because we have to, of course, pay $105,000 to pay the to breach our contract, and we're going to be signing with Sky Racing Team VR46, obviously. The team that is partly owned by Valentino Rossi, so it's one of the best teams in Moto2, and I think that's going to give us a pretty solid platform to attempt to win the championship in our first season, as of course Bubba is being presented. And I also picked it because I really love the bike. It's just such a nice design. The livery is just beautiful, and I don't know, I had to go with this team. I just feel like it would be kind of funny to also win with you know, with some of Rossi's favorite guys, so to beat them would just be kind of an added little thing. Of course, we get a huge signing on bonus, And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comment section down below 2 things. Number 1, what's your favorite track on the calendar? Number 2, what you thought about Bubba, and what would you like to see us improve on here? So as always, guys, thank you so much for the support. I hope I'll see you in the next episode, which will be the first episode of Season 2 of the Bubba Speed Career Mode.